studios. Joining us now, it's Alyssa Arbuckle, Multimedia Journalist, SuperTalk Mississippi News. There you go. When you hear that sound, you know it's the news folks in the studios. Thanks for coming in, Alyssa.
Good to be here. I'm glad to finally do this. It's been a while since they told me I was going to do it for the first time, so I'm excited.
Absolutely. All right, so the president, is he on the ground yet? Do you know?
Yeah, he came in this morning. Yeah, he came in this morning. He was supposed to bring his first lady with him, too, so they both got to see Rolling Fork this morning.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And Reeves is supposed to be with them, too.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine just sent me a photo via text of Air Force One flying above our Gluckstadt, not too far from here, so a few miles up the road to the north. So what is he expected to talk about? Do we have any indication of, other than he'll obviously talk about the disaster itself, do you think he may have any announcements as to special funding or anything, any sort of declaration over and above what he's already done to help the good people in Rolling Fork recover?
I mean, he might. He's already been doing so much since the storms happened on Friday, and then throughout Saturday, he was definitely paying attention to all of it. For Rolling Fork and Sharkey County specifically, like Silver City and everything, they had the whole E4, the one E4 tornado in the state. And so even though they didn't have nearly as many homes damaged, they had around like 255, I think, in Sharkey County. Out of the 2,000, that were damaged across Mississippi, they had the majority of the fatalities. I think it was 13 out of the 21.
Incredible.
So there's a lot of fatalities rather than damage to homes specifically, but I mean, they definitely had a huge impact there. Monroe County was the one that had the majority of the homes. They had over 1,400, I think, of the 2,000. But they only had like a couple fatalities in comparison to the 13. So I definitely think that Biden being there, he's going to see a lot of stuff already. And we've already seen a lot of pictures circulating from MEMA, FEMA, all the other organizations like Red Cross. Like it's definitely, it's something that we haven't seen in a long, long while. It's very historically horrible, in my opinion. Yeah.
All right. So you indicated that Governor Reeves is expected to be on site as well with the president. Any other notable elected officials that we're expecting? Any members of our congressional delegation or folks from the Capitol?
Not to my knowledge. The only one that I heard about was Reeves with, Biden and First Lady Jill Biden. But, I know that they're trying to keep a lot of people away from big areas like Rolling Fork that had the majority of the damage, because the more people, it's already so, everything's just in disarray. So the more people, they've even been telling people, who want to go over and see it, like spectate it basically, and just see all that happen there. Like, please don't come over. We're trying to recover. Like, people are trying to get their feet on the ground. We're trying to get water. We're trying to get food. We're trying to get shelter. So don't come over here at all. So I don't expect there to be a huge crowd. There might be. It's a really important thing because it's the first time that Biden has come through his entire term to Mississippi. So to my knowledge, since he was elected. But so it's a really historic moment, but hopefully there's not too many people and they have enough space for everybody.
Yeah, always a problem when the president and his motorcade and entourage are visiting areas across the country. It's a big production to make that happen.
Definitely.
The legislature's been pretty busy this week. They're trying to get out of there, is what it seems to me like, and they're in session today, right? We've been tracking that somewhat.
They're both, the House and the Senate are debating really big ticket bills. They extended the session to April 4th instead of the 2nd in the House for appropriations and, big ticket bills. I know that they're trying to get the ballot initiative revived because that died on the calendar. That one was Senate Concurrent Resolution 533. And so they were trying to get Senate Concurrent Resolution 572 to revive that and get the deadline extended for that. And I think that's in the House right now. And I haven't seen any action on that since Monday. But, the House has a little bit more to go. So April 2nd was the original date for sine die, but now it's going to be April 4th.
Something that occurred this week, of course, it's gotten a lot of attention, is that the State Board of Education's pick for Superintendent of Education, Dr. Robert Taylor, his confirmation did not get approved by the state Senate. And so that leaves us without a leader of the Department of Education. But I believe late yesterday, Mike Kent was named as interim superintendent. Is that right?
He was. I thought it was pretty quick. I mean, it just happened that Taylor was denied with the 31-21 vote in the Senate. And they were like, well, in the coming days, in a while, we're going to have another interim superintendent. And then immediately it's pretty quick. So I guess he's going to stay in. Kent is going to stay in until probably around, I think it was June 30th was the day that he's going to, they're going to say that's your last day. And then on July 1st, they're going to have a long-term interim superintendent. So he's a short-term one. They're going to have a long-term one. And then after that, they're going to have the permanent one.
Right.
So, yeah, but he's now instead of Robert Taylor. And, a lot of people have been saying stuff like, I know Horn came on the other day that it's racially motivated. I mean, there's no confirmation on any of that. But now we have a state superintendent. So that fills the position.
At least for a couple of months.
Definitely.
And Mike Kent is presently deputy superintendent, right?
Yes, he is. Kent was also, he was with the Mississippi Department of Education for over a decade. Wasn't that 2012? Is that correct?
I believe so. And prior to that, he was superintendent of Madison County Schools. I worked with him, know him from that process. He's good. He's a good man.
He's definitely experienced.
No doubt. Been in education.
From Mississippi.
He sure is. Been in education, as far as I know, his entire career, professional career.
Yeah.
So, but not expected to, at this point, I don't think, be named to the slot permanently.
They still have the long-term interim. So I don't know if they're going to continue him into the long-term position. After he steps in, I think it's like April 3rd, is the day that he steps in and takes the position. But he's been in Mississippi for a long time. He's been doing a lot of public service for Mississippi. And I know the Senate's reservations with getting Robert Taylor in was that he did a lot of out-of-state public service. And that was one of the reasons why they didn't want to confirm him.
Right.
So I think, if they wanted somebody who's experienced in Mississippi, Kent definitely fits the bill.
No doubt about it. All right, so on the health care front, from a legislative perspective in Mississippi, we've got some bills still out there, right?
There were 4 of them. That one was passed and sent to the governor, and he signed that one. That one was Senate Bill 2373, and that one is the hospital nurse loan repayment program. It's where nurses can get $6,000 every year, and they can get up to like $18,000 to pay any outstanding student loan debt, which I think is really good since there's so many nurses and there's such a need for nurses in Mississippi. No doubt. I think that's going to help a lot for incentivizing more nurses to get into the field. And then there were 3 other ones. In total, there was $103.7 million that was allocated for Mississippi hospitals in need. I think there's like 28 hospitals that are struggling financially in the state. And these 3 bills should definitely help. There was 2372, which has been passed in both chambers, that will allocate money to hospitals that meet certain criteria. Then there was 2371 that passed both chambers and conference, and that one is like grants for college nursing, allied health programs, stuff like that. And then 2323 also passed in both chambers. That one is allowing hospitals to collaborate with nonprofit entities and other entities so they can give them additional help that they need. These
were all bills that were introduced early on in the session, did survive the process, and looks like they're going to be pulled across the finish line here.
Definitely.
Singing River, big healthcare outfit on the coast, looks like they have a buyer.
Yeah. That one is I don't want to say it wrong. I think it's Franciscan or I don't know.
Franciscan, yeah.
Yeah, Missionaries of Our Lady Health System, and they actually are over St. Dominic Hospital
out
in
of
Jackson.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
So they're going to acquire Singing River, right? Yeah.
And they're in Jackson already, so they already have a foot in Mississippi. So that's really beneficial.
Yeah, so lots of activity for sure this week.
I think so.
Yeah, and we'll probably have more next week because it looks like they're
definitely.
going to be there for a while.
All the way up until Tuesday, I'm guessing.
We appreciate you coming in, Alyssa. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, Alyssa Arbuckle, multimedia journalist with SuperTalk Mississippi News, has been our guest. We're stepping aside for a break from the Element Well Studios. Coming right back.